The United Nations has rejected a U.S. resolution to end the war in Ukraine. Now, that resolution failed to mention Russia's aggression in the conflict. Journalist Mitch McCann joins us now from New York with more on this. So, Mitch, walk us through now. The Assembly moved to amend the language in that draft resolution. Talk to us more about that, because that has been a sticking point for quite some time when we've talked about trying to end this war now for months, even years.
That's right. Good afternoon from New York, Angie. It has been an extraordinary day of developments here in New York at the United Nations concerning the ongoing war in Ukraine. That's because on the third anniversary of this war, the United States aligned with Russia, Belarus and North Korea in voting against a resolution brought by Ukraine in the General Assembly, which condemned Russian aggression in Ukraine and called for the return of Ukrainian territory. Instead, the United States raised its own separate resolution this morning, which called for an end to the war without blaming Russia. That wasn't in the text, but the United States ended up abstaining from its own resolution because other members of the General Assembly voted to include language that was described as anti-Russian. Now, if we sit back and look at this for a moment, this is really recognition of a sharp policy change over the last couple of weeks from the United States. Previously, one of the biggest defenders of Ukraine, certainly the biggest funder of its war defense. Since then, in the last couple of weeks, Donald Trump has called Ukraine's president a dictator. He said he played President Joe Biden like a fiddle. And today, his government at the UN has failed to vote against a resolution condemning Russia for its role in this war. Now, Richard Gowan is a respected voice here in New York on UN matters from the International Crisis Group, and he told the Washington Post this afternoon the divide between the United States and Europe marked the biggest split among Western powers at the UN since the Iraq War, and probably even more fundamental. So you can see from those comments just how serious this has been taken and how much of a policy shift this is from the United States of America.
Yeah, indeed. And with that being said, we know that the Security Council is meeting this afternoon. What are you watching for from them?
Yeah, this has actually been delayed. This was meant to start an hour ago, but there have now been some closed meetings. It's only getting underway at the moment. This meeting was requested by Ukraine on the third anniversary of the war, and it's going to feature a briefing from a UN representative to update members on the situation in Ukraine. 2 weeks ago, the UN said it had documented more than 40,000 civilian casualties, including 12,000 deaths. So this will be a chance for each member state to give a clear statement highlighting where they stand in this war. I think all eyes will be on the United States again this afternoon. It's also reported that there may be a draft resolution on this issue authored by the United States again today. So we're going to have to see how that plays out in the next couple of hours.
Yeah, indeed, as you mentioned there, Mitch, that meeting now getting underway, having been delayed earlier. Journalist Mitch McCann for us in New York. Appreciate it, Mitch. Thank you.